Hello everybody, we are back. What's up everybody, this is gonna be part 2 of the studio tour. I don't know why I'm doing this in the storage room. I just, for some reason, chose this room. So, hello everybody, we are back with part 2 of our studio build out video, I suppose. The last one we'll put a link to up there so you can go watch it. Yeah, so the first half was kind of building out a lot of the big stuff, and the second half, at least hopefully, I don't know, I'm filming this the day we got back here, is hopefully going to be finishing a lot of the sets and set dressing and things like that. The good thing is it won't just be me, it'll be Mike and Jimmy will be here too, at least for part of it, which will be great, because the last time it was literally all just me. And so we're all here because Mike and I have officially moved at this point. Still don't have a place to live though, so don't worry about it. Hope by the end of this video I have a place to live, because your boy sure doesn't right now. But nonetheless, we have officially moved. I'm actually gonna be leaving right now. I just dropped off in the studio real quick to drop some stuff off because we need to unpack a gigantic U-Haul. So super hyped to be back. Let's get on with the build.
We're all here. Hello. Hello. Mike, when was the last time you were in here?
A month ago, like literally none of this was here. Not a single piece of, like there's this table and you had painted part of that wall. And now we have like a situation.
It's like a month ago that you were here, basically. Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. So this is, I'm just like taking it on. This is so freaking cool.
So one of the main benefits of being bald is that you have massive glare right on your dome when you have lights. And so we're in the process of messing with diffusers. That's Jimmy. Messing with diffusers, trying to see if we can get this bad boy ping, to not be quite so hot. So we're trying to see, is there ways to lessen the amount of glare on my dome.
Are you sweaty or is that just?
I think that's just my skin, Jimmy.
It's just okay.
I felt like that was judgmental.
It wasn't.
What, are you sweating right now?
It was hopeful. I was like, he's sweating.
I don't think I am sweating. I think I'm just shiny. I think I have natural oils in my skin, and it's a sign of a healthy skin.
All right.
Yeah, we're still checking dome glare. Okay, so now what we're doing is putting a little soundproofing up on the walls here in the. This is the studio. We're also messing around with some diffusion over there. So we're putting this is kind of old soundproof. This is actually from the bedroom studio, and just trying to mess around and see kind of what soundproofing we need to do. I'm on ladder too. That's probably not safe. OSHA.
This is a test of the audio.
Sound test. How bouncy is it? Woo.
It's only a couple of bands currently.
Okay, so this is also something we did real quick where we got some more Steel Tech. Steel Tech hit us up for a sponsorship, baby, and we're bringing it down a pole like this. We're probably gonna hang our camera, probably a monitor so we can see chat for live streams and really anything else we want to off of this. And it'll kind of point towards, if I was sitting, here playing a game, it's pointing towards us like that. So that's the rough idea. As of right now, it actually looks like it's gonna be pretty darn viable. And yeah, and it's really secure too, so looking pretty good about that one.
Yeah, it's not this one.
Which one is it then? We're still in the dome glare
Era.
trial and error realm. I don't think it's that one. See, this is the problem, y'all. This is what we're dealing with right here. Woo! Apparels are being bald, everybody. Look at this. This is a multi-day process.
Right.
All right, quick little update here down the hall. That's the office. This is me, and I am going on a journey while Jimmy and Nick work. I'm gonna go try to get keys for our mailbox. Apparently, there's just go to a post office and be like, "Give me the keys," and never gonna trust that they know what that means. So your boy is a dope. Got to the post office, had all sorts of questions loaded up, and then forgot it's June 19th. It's Juneteenth, so it's a holiday, which is awesome. I'm glad they have the day off, but there's no post office today, so the saga figuring out our mail continues.
So we're actually gonna jump ahead a little bit in the video to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor, which is FlexiSpot. So this is actually a true story. We've talked about in our other videos about the studio that we kind of wanted a table here. We want this to be like a standing set, kind of slightly more industrial. We're gonna put like a pegboard and stuff in this set. And we kind of were like, it'd be nice to have a table
that we can have right here, preferably a standing table, so that we can, you know, if we want to put board game components or set up a game a little bit, we can reference it. We think we might have a down camera kind of behind us here that we can rig up or whatever. And so we were talking about that, and then like, I'm not kidding, literally the next day, we got an email from FlexiSpot saying, hey, we saw your guys' stuff, you want to work together? And we were like, yes, actually we do that. Yeah, we really do. Okay, so here it is built. And now the first thing we gotta do, of course, is a weight test. So the FlexiSpot can hold and lift up to 355 pounds, which I think is 161 kilos. And so we gotta test some weight.
It's lifting. Mike, we need more weight. Do it.
Check it out. Class, got some wood, that's heavy.
Oh, super heavy, dude. Let's go. Let me put an armchair on you.
Still going. Oh, look at the stability up here. I feel fine. They're also really stable even when they're really tall. So, you know, if you get up here, you do some wiggles. Also, the table goes very high, as you can see. It's also programmable, so you can have it at set heights if you want a sitting one or a standing one, something like that. And it comes with just flat feet or wheels. And we actually got the one with wheels specifically, and that was very, very important to us. Having on wheels is important because we want to be able to have it in this set, be standing at it, you know, shooting, things like this, but then we can then roll it out of the way so that if we need to start shooting this way, we can put like a tripod here or something like that. If we need to have stuff here, we then can maneuver this table. It's like they're pretty darn stable for being as tall as they are. You can see when I was up there and I was moving it around, they are pretty darn stable. They also came with a bunch of like cable management stuff, which is actually really nice. So your stuff isn't like hanging all over the place, which is really, really nice as well. And as you can see right here, we have our little control panel where you can set some stuff and then of course go up and down. It'll kind of tell you how high it is and stuff like that right there, which is very, very cool. But again, one of the main things is the load capacity. 355 pounds is a lot. And it can go up and down 20,000 times, they say, at that weight and still be okay. And it's also made with a bamboo top, and they have 15 years of quality assurance as well. So you have some kind of long-term quality assurance care, which is always nice. And that is this standing desk, which we're super, super hyped to have. It's gonna make this set even better. We're really, really excited to have it and use it. We think it's gonna be really, really cool. So again, big, big shout out to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video and for this really awesome desk.
All right, so that's kind of the rough idea. You can see these lights are, there's Jimmy, he's running away. These lights are just very, very, you can kind of tell, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but like this side is just way softer than this side is, and that helps out with, you know. All righty, we're finally getting desks set up. Ignore the bad cable management. It will get better, I promise. It's not always gonna look like this.
Can I have a question?
Yeah,
you
Mike.
have so many more chords than I do. Do I need to feel like I just don't feel like, you know, I'm pulling a weight or something here. Testing. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at these things. Ooh. Okay, so I just put up this shelf here. This again is gonna be one of our standing sets. This is gonna be kind of like, I don't know, like, probably a place more for like board game discussions. If we're discussing mechanics or a specific thing about a game, we kind of want to have a table here. More on that actually a little bit later in the video. And just have some stuff here. One, wanted to have a nice kind of like industrial looking shelf. Shouts out to Joy, who we got this shelf from. And so wanted something a little more industrial. We might put like a pegboard here just to kind of hang stuff, kind of make it feel more like a workshop in this set. Having a table, that kind of stuff. And so I really, really like this shelf. It's nice and big. We should be able to put stuff on here. And yeah, I think it's gonna look really good.
All right, this isn't board game related, but it's just more family related. Are any of y'all capable of going to your parents' house and not just taking something with you when you go? I want for nothing today, but I still just stole these walking out.
Oh my gosh, we just had our first like package delivery here, which is like really weird. We got a package delivered. The FedEx guy was like, "This is the Bros Murph at 165," and we were like, "Yeah, yeah, that's us." And he's like, "Can you sign?" I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, that's a weird little thing, but that's weirdly exciting. Holy crap! So we just got something delivered here.
Let me tell you my favorite games.
Do I look good? Do I look good?
All right, so what we're doing now is we got these big beefy HDMI cables. These can do like 8K and they're like 35 feet long. HDMI does not do well over long distances, but these cables are a lot better for that. And so now we're running them up from the cameras that are gonna be here, running them up to here, across to there, and then down into the computer that's gonna be over there, so that we can stream, but have our streams look way cooler and way nicer. So big beefy HDMI cables. Okay, a funny look, a water cooler. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but nonetheless, it's right there. I'm so happy. One thing we found out through a couple times now is that when you have an office like this, delivery people just walk in. They just walk into the office. Granted, we could like lock the door so they can't, but we had a couple things delivered and delivery people just like straight up walked in and be like, I have a package. Yeah, here you go. It was wild. It's for everywhere. I was like, who the hell's in here? And they're like, hi. And we're like, oh, hi. So maybe other people work in offices, you already knew that, but we didn't know that. So that's been kind of odd, but fine. It's fine, but it's just, that's weird. Finally got some water jugs, and we're gonna set up this water cooler because we really want a water cooler. It makes it feel very official, you know. So now we got some jugs, and so we can actually have some water. Let's go. Do you hear that? The reservoir is filling. Also, you can see me filming this. Hi.
The Dome Glare sagas continue.
It's softer. We're getting there. It's softer.
First week of the studio, Mike. How you feeling? Feeling great about it. You know what I mean? We're gonna get dialed in someday. I don't know if that's today, but you know we're out here. We're doing.
Definitely not today. It's Friday afternoon.
You're going home. I'm out of here either way, baby.
We're back in the garage. So you know what time it is?
It's French cleat time, baby.
Okay, so if you don't know what French cleats are, watch the last vlog video because I talk about it a lot there and I'm not gonna go through the whole thing again, but nonetheless, French cleats are amazing and I'm weirdly borderline obsessed with them. So we're gonna make, hopefully, a bunch of different shells. So the main thing with the shells we're gonna have to figure out is what depth. This is kind of one of those crappy shells I made as a example of how French cleats work. So the main thing we have to figure out is how wide we wanna make this part of the shelf, because the shelf sits like this on the wall. So how wide we want this. This is a little too shallow because again, I just made this really quickly. So we definitely want some wider ones. And then we're gonna have to figure out how we wanna do the bracing. So the thing with French cleats is you need to have something to brace against the wall. So like if this is the wall right here, the French cleat is hanging on, the bracing is what's holding basically all of the weight. So because as you put something on the shelf then wants to do this, right? And it wants to come out of the French cleat. So it's gonna be pushing down in the French cleat, but if you have enough weight, it can come out or it can damage stuff. So you need a bracing against the wall, which is what this is for. This will sit against the wall or against the other French cleat. And then basically all the weight from the shelf is down here on the wall, and it's on the screws that are in the cleat that's in the wall. So there's actually not as much weight on the cleat itself, which is still very, very strong. So basically the wider the shelf you have, the more bracing you're gonna need, because the wider it's gonna go, the more it's gonna wanna do this. The more pressure you put this way, the harder it is gonna be on the cleat. So you need a lot of bracing. So we have kind of this, which is a little bit wider, or maybe that's about the same width. Is that about the same width? It's a little bit wider. So these will probably be the shallowest we make our shelves. And then we have some wider ones, some 1x12s basically. And so I think we'll probably go with this. Maybe I might cut it down a little bit. And I also don't want the bracing to look like this. This is very ugly, it's just a block. We'll probably either do triangles. I really want to do some kind of curved triangle, just so it looks nice. Alrighty, so we're gonna cut a 45-degree angle on this line right here. We put a fence on here so that our circular saw can run against that, and then hopefully our cut will be pretty straight, but we'll see.
So, it took us a minute to get to this point. I couldn't really figure out how to do these and how I wanted to do them. And then I also realized that for other shelves, ones that are like this thick instead of this one, how long they are, we're gonna need kind of different bracers. So I was trying to kind of figure out something that was gonna work for everything, and then realize that it's not really gonna work like that. And so I didn't want to just do like triangles or just blocks, so we put a little curve in it. My jigsaw work was not very good, but I don't think you'll be able to notice, honestly, unless you're looking really closely. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, as long as it looks good on camera, that's really all that matters. But I really wish I had like a pin nail gun, so I could just like pop them in there and use that, because it'd go a lot faster and it'll probably be a lot more accurate, but we'll see. We're glued. My plan didn't really work using the finishing nails. Again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying, where I really wish I had a nail gun, because trying to like clamp it and keep it in place and then take a hammer with some finishing nails and start smacking on it to clamp it together kind of didn't really work. So yeah, it's kind of, I need way more clamps. So what I'm probably gonna try and do is start working on other shelves and start at least trying to plan them out while this kind of sets up. Okay, so it's been a little over 30 minutes. So I took the clamps off, which I normally wouldn't do, but I want my clamps back. And so now what I did is I then put finishing screws in, because the glue was set up enough where it wasn't gonna go anywhere. And so now I put finishing screws in there to kind of, again, give it a little bit more clamping action, so that now it can fully dry. And I'm not gonna like sand it or do anything, I think, until either much later today or probably tomorrow. But nonetheless, that's the shelf. It's okay. I need to try and cut off a little bit here. My measurements weren't perfect. I'm not working in this perfect situation, obviously. But let's just kind of give her a little test, I guess. So, oops, this would be the French cleat on the wall. And boom! Look at that. Hey! Jeez, what a journey. My gosh. It's been many hours since we've last talked. I finished the braces for the bigger shelves. These shelves are going to be quite a bit wider, as you can see. And yeah, doing the braces was tough. It was not my best work. They're not very symmetrical, but it won't really matter once they're on the wall. You'll never really notice. I'll notice, but you won't know too much. So the main thing that was different about these ones is all the other shelves I've done, the bracing is just going to brace against the wall cleat, which will be, you know, like this. But because these ones are so much wider, they're so much deeper this way, I wanted the bracing to be longer, basically, which means that I need to brace against the wall, not against the cleat. So the cleat will go here. So then I needed to make like a notch, basically, and then have this bracing against the wall. And that was harder than I thought it'd be. Ultimately, it wasn't that bad, but just trying to do it with just like a jigsaw and stuff, and it was a bit tough. I wish more than anything I had a table saw. Table saws and band saws would have made this whole thing so much easier. But we out here, we did it. Well, I feel stupid because I just didn't even ask. Our mom and her boyfriend John do have a nail gun. All right, big shelf cleat test. This will be a wall cleat. Boom. Heck yeah, let's go. So again, you can kind of see that will be bracing against the wall, because the cleat only goes to here, so then this will brace against the wall, and that gives us even more like torque this way, you know? Chicken! Last video was turkey. Now we have chickens. Chicken. Okay, so I forgot to film literally everything from today. But what we did is we sanded our 5 shelves. We then conditioned them with some wood stain conditioner, and then we just finished staining them now. And we stained them in the same color that we stained the cleats in, so that everything should at least somewhat match. So yeah, this is done. That's another weekend in Mom's garage. Build stuff for the French cleats. Boom! All right, it's the next week. It's Monday, actually. We're in the playthrough room right now. It's actually like 6 o'clock, so it's like late in the day. We actually kind of are somewhat back to work to some degree, at least. We're still working on the studio. I was just doing stuff right now, which is why I'm recording this. But yeah, we are definitely kind of, we got to start working again. That's just kind of where we're at. So I was in the playthrough. So what I did is we got more of this soundproofing. This is our old soundproofing right here. We got some new one here, which is actually thicker, which is nice. And it wasn't very expensive, which is great. So we did essentially 2 rows, 2 feet of soundproofing. This already has these moving blankets here, which help out, and then kind of all the way around like that. And I'll tell you, it's made a massive difference. The sound in here was already a lot better with the various moving blankets and just having stuff around to bounce off the sound. But it made it a lot better with those up there. So I'm really, really hyped because it was already looking pretty good and now it's sounding quite good in here, which is great. We're also starting to put some stuff up on the walls. We have the coconut board, and then these are the BGG Artist Series. And these might feel low, like you can see me, I'm like 5'10". And these are kind of low, but you have to remember that we're actually sitting at this table, so we're actually gonna be around here, and so everything is kind of lower, and you might think this is gonna be in the shot, but it's not. We also put up one of our most prized possessions, which is this Korean Point Break poster that we have. Love Point Break. Look how beautiful he is, my God. There was a while back in the day, we were in LA when we started doing it, but it's like probably 9 or 10 years ago now. Mike and I got into a thing where we like to collect posters from our favorite movies from different countries. So I think we had a Big Trouble in Little China one from China. We had I think Japanese Fellowship of the Ring poster. We kind of went out and started collecting a whole bunch. Oh no, we had what was it? The Big Trouble in Little China one was from Mexico. I think it was called like Golpe en la Pequeña China. That's what it was called. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Spanish. It was awesome. So we used to have all these big posters that were all from different countries. We really liked it. We don't have any of them anymore, but we've kept this Korean Point Break one because we just think it's the funniest one. It's just such a weird thing to have, but we really like it.
We are continuing our build as we are wont to do. Nick is currently levitating. I don't know how he's managing that. He's putting up a sound blanket via curtain rod because we took the door off. Nice creepy dissolve there. It really does sell that you're flying. We're putting a sound blanket up that we can kind of curtain rod it just to help catch more of the sound. That way if people are out here and things, it's just going to be less impactful. And I am setting up office chairs because we keep it ergonomic here at the Brothers Murph. All right, there'll be lower lumbar support for days up in here, and these will be kind of our main rigs that we will be using at least to start in the playthrough room, and then when we're doing typity-typities on the computer in the office and stuff as well. We have matching chairs. We have matching shirts.
We sure
We're
do.
all over the place with the match.
We are.
These are not where they're going to be. They're going to be just over here. But these are our new, top 10, relaxing sitting set. Relaxing sitting set, a little more casual, kick back, do whatever you want to do. Yeah. We're going to have the podcast mics. It's going to be dope. So excited.
Okay, so this is roughly kind of it. We originally thought we were going to have an end table there, and we thought maybe we could actually attach stuff to like one of the shelves in the French cleats, which would be cool. So again, we will have probably 3 cameras in here. One that's kind of like here, a shot, and then one that's kind of more probably close in on this one, and then close in on that one. So we'll have to see.
Logan Faye, who's immediately walking off set. She said craft services was not to her liking. I haven't built our crafty cart yet, but we're gonna get Logan. You don't have to. You can get a raise in pay. It's really whatever whatever you want.
Boom, it's Mike here. All right, look, Nick's up there setting some final things up. We are going
So scared.
for a test run of sorts. We are going to be filming a playthrough of Wormspan. This is the first piece of content we filmed in this room. We've done a ton of work. You can see diffusers and sound stuff. None of that'll be on camera, we hope. So yeah, look, if that playthrough comes out before this video and it looks good, that's great. And if you don't see that video or never came out, or if it looks bad, we had to tweak some stuff. We're about to find out.
It didn't work,
Yeah.
There's no longer a table in this room. I wonder why.
Is it because we're getting a different table?
Okay. Something's different. Bam! That's different.
So today was a big day. We got our new tables delivered. I'm not gonna talk about them a ton right now because we're gonna have an entire dedicated video to these, but these are by Artig, who are sponsoring the channel and are really just wonderful, wonderful people. But we will talk about them a lot more. But yes, I did say tables because we have this one in here and then this one in here.
Where did you come from?
So yes, big shout out to Artig. Again, we'll have an entire dedicated video and we'll talk about these more during the final studio tour. There will be more thoughts, but keep an eye out for that. Okay, so I got some new bins for the small games part. I got these ones right here, which you can see are actually like stackable. I was like, there's probably like stackable bins because I feel like we're losing a lot of vertical real estate with these small games, and that feels bad, man. So we're gonna try these out. Okay, the new bins are in. Now, you can see this little stack right here is what was in the other bins. So we couldn't quite fit the same amount, but we also had 9 of those bins and we only have 6 of these because for whatever reason, I was only able to buy 3 of them. And so I'm gonna go and try and buy, I think 2 more. So they definitely fit more per bin. And again, the fact that we can stack them too high is like absolutely killer. And during the time lapse, you saw me drilling, and what I was doing is I was putting holes in the bottom of this and putting zip ties on there. That way I could zip tie these to the shelf itself, because without it, these will just kind of like slide all over the place because it's hard plastic and they won't stay in place. So I zip tied them, and that way you can pull them in and out, no problem, and you're good to go. Okay, so today we're going to be mounting our old lights. So these lights right here, these are the lights that are in our old studio. We have since upgraded these in the playthrough room to much bigger lights. But we still want to use these because they're still fine. They're just smaller, not quite big enough for that room. So we're gonna mount them up on the top of the walls here. When I have some spare poplar, and we're gonna mount it up there, and then again we can screw into this, kind of like we did in the other room. We can screw into this and kind of put the lights wherever we want. We have 4 of them, so I think we're basically gonna put like 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and kind of that's gonna be it. Also, at some point today, we're gonna mount this pegboard. This pegboard is gonna kind of go on the wall around here-ish, so that we can like hang stuff here, and kind of, again, we wanted this set to be kind of industrial. So we're gonna start messing around with that. That's the first 2. The observant of you might notice there's already stuff sticking out of them. That is because I actually already put stuff in these before we put them up there. So what I did is I already have bolts coming out of these. And so what I did when I was cutting these to the length, by the way, I really wish I'd made these like another inch or 2 longer. Our studs are 24 inches apart, and I made these 26 inches. I wish I'd made like 28. You can see during the time lapse, I had to move them because the screws are kind of at the end. And I realized that the first one I put were like here, and then I was like, oh, now this I can't reach the other side, so I had to like literally take it out, move it, put it back in. So, but no, before I did that, I drilled holes in this, well, partial holes, I suppose, so I could countersink these bolts in here. And the reason I did this is, again, we're planning on probably just screwing a big lag screw into these like we did in the other room to hang those lights, just because it's just easier, and again, they're not really gonna move. But just in case we wanted the versatility, you know how your brothers Murph love some versatility, I decided to put bolts in here, and I put specifically a 1/4 inch bolt and then a 3/8 inch bolt. And the reason is because that way, if we wanted to put something like a tripod head, this is a head that goes on top of a tripod. Tripod heads either have a 1/4 inch screw or a 3/8 inch screw. So that way we could literally, if we wanted to be able to maneuver the lights a little bit more,
we can just screw one of these bad boys on there. Blam. And then if we had a light, we can then, you know, maneuver it around a little bit more. Again, I don't really think we're gonna need to do this, but like, you know, these bolts are like 20 cents each. And it wasn't too much more work to kind of put them in there. So I basically did that so that way, instead of just having it attached to a lag bolt and be kind of more or less stagnant, right, not really movable, we could get some like cheap tripod heads like this and then put it on there so that we can maneuver it more so if we need to. And if not, then they're just, I lost like 40 cents on bolts. I also gotta say, I hate that there's metal studs in this building. I get it, it's like an office building, so the studs aren't wood, they're metal, right? And so they want it to be strong. But I tell you, every single time I'm screwing into metal studs, I have a miniature panic attack. Because when you're screwing into normal wood studs, if you're ever hitting metal, that means you're either hitting plumbing or you're hitting electrical. And so every single time I'm like hitting a metal stud and I feel it stop, you have to like really push, and also go boom, it'll just go through. And it's just like every single time I just assume that there's water gonna go like, psh. Well, that was a pain. Jeez. God, that was a lot harder than it was in there. Having that grid that we could just like zip tie these onto the grid made this holding a lot easier. Having to zip tie them to the actual drop ceiling grid here was a massive pain. Also, because the outlets are pretty far away from the lights. They can reach, obviously, but they weren't quite as close as I thought they were. But nonetheless, that's great. We're using both plugs in either one here, but if we need more, we can always just zip tie a power strip up there, no problems. Okay, so that's the lights in here. Again, they'll kind of probably be like this, like pointing up, just general fill lighting, as opposed to like pointing at anything specific. But nonetheless, there we go. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is try and put up this pegboard right here. And that's just the next step in this room. Oh my gosh, I was putting up these little things to mount a pegboard to, and I was just eyeballing it. Perfectly level. Freaking nailed it. Absolute eyeball nailed that perfect level. Okay, pegboard up. Again, bit of a challenge, but we made it work. You can see a little bit of these blocks over here. That's honestly fine. You probably won't ever see this half of the pegboard, as I don't think the framing will allow that generally. And if worse comes worse, we'll like put something over there so you don't see it. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're gonna be painting the backing on these shelves. I put new backing on, I think last episode, I don't remember honestly when I did it, but it's brown. It's like this brown hardboard, and I need to paint it. So I'm gonna paint it black. The good thing is it should be pretty easy because it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be not noticeably different or not, just basically not noticeable. All right, we're gonna let these dry and see if I need to do a second coat. I hope I don't, just because I'm lazy and I don't want to. Okay, they are painted, the background. So you can see like the how they normally came with that kind of woodish background, but the black background is not distractingly different, and that's all that matters, baby. That's probably gonna be the sitting set shot or so. It looks pretty hot. But all right, we got this up here. Again, you're kind of seeing now with this table in here, you kind of start to see the vision for this set. And then this set is super, not even close to being done. So we're waiting on wallpaper, but we are going to be putting up some kind of wainscoting, which we already have. But we can't put this up until the wallpaper is up because the wallpaper is going to go a little bit behind the wainscoting. So that'll be a project probably for this upcoming weekend. And then here's the thing, fam, that's gonna be like the last set. This one's pretty darn close to being done. This one is pretty close to being done, if not done. And so, gosh, we're almost there, fam, we're almost there.
I think we're gonna call this video done. The studio is not done yet. There's really only one big project to do, and that's gonna be putting the wainscoting and the wallpaper on the wall that's behind you there. But pretty much everything else that's big is done. We're still figuring out sound stuff, which you saw a second ago. We still need to dress a lot of stuff, but at this point, we're like,
I don't know, like 90% done. And once we get the other set wall up, then we're like 95, and it's really just going to be a bunch of little things. Set dressing, figuring out little things with computers, that kind of stuff. A lot of like tweaking and stuff. But again, big shout out to FlexiSpot for sponsoring with this cool desk here. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed this little journey of us building out this studio. It's been a big learning experience where we've just had to kind of experiment and mess around and see what works, and it's been pretty gratifying knowing that like pretty much all of our ideas of like, we think we want this set to look like this, we think this would look good like this, pretty much all of those have been correct, which is actually really, really nice, because you kind of don't really know. Like this set, I think looks pretty cool, and it's like one of the things you're like, well, that might not look that good, and you kind of have to just make it and then see. And everything, we haven't had any like real like, oh, this doesn't work, we need to completely rethink the way we're gonna do this, which has been very, very nice. And so thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe and like and do all that stuff if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for that tour video, which hopefully will be coming up the next couple weeks. We will see you all later. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye.
Thank you so much for watching that second studio video. We really, really appreciate it. Want to give a big shout out to our channel sponsors, Restoration Games, Board Game Geek, and Garphill Games. And a big shout out to Arcus Games, who are sponsoring the Bros Smurf for the month of July. Thank you so, so much. Make sure to check out Dreadful Meadows, Storm Raiders, and a whole bunch of other games. Arcus Games rocks. Make sure to check them out and have yourself a great day.